Hi there. Today I'm going to make a new and improved bird feeder. And new and improved upon this model that I have right here. Welcome to Jeff Rose Outdoor Extremes. I made this a couple of years ago and I've used it 2 seasons, long enough to know that it works well, but not well enough for my liking. There's really only 2 things wrong with it. One is mainly the size. The internal diameter of this is only 2.5 inches, and it's just not large enough. I find the birds, when they're hungry, they'll clean this out in a day. And the other thing I don't like is that these lower holes here should be more where this peg is, and then what I do is I'll take this peg and I'll move it into the actual base so they can sit and eat out through these larger holes almost right to the bottom. Now there are access holes here, but they don't work as well as these holes. So anyway, that's the job. So I selected myself a new block of wood. This is cedar, and that was also made out of eastern white cedar. Well, the first thing to do is I got to strip the bark off it. The ends aren't very square. I got to square them up with the chainsaw, and then I got to hollow the inside out completely all the way through so that it's a channel just like that one. So we're ready to trim this log, which we're going to hollow out and make a bird feeder out of. And in the background you can see my old bird feeder here and 2 of my latest projects, a couple of hollowed out cedar log bird houses. In progress. One of the main things I wanted to do was increase the diameter of the hole in this. So this is a 6-inch hole saw, and I've got at least 1/2 inch all the way around here, and that's enough. But I got to check the other side. To go from 2.5 to 6 is about 2.5 times the size. Yeah, that looks like it'll do. So using a series of hole saws, this is a 6-inch and this is 2.5. I also used a 3.5. So this is a 6-inch cut, 3.5-inch cut, 2.5-inch cut. Now the 3.5 and 2.5 are in the depth of the thing, which is about 2.5 inches. But the 6-hole cut is only in about 1 inch to 1.25 inches. And now I've got to bore this out, and then I can reuse those tools again further inside the log to about the halfway mark. Then I'll switch it over and do the same thing on the other side, and they'll meet approximately in the middle. But first we need to start chewing away at this material. The best tool to do that, to make the fastest time in the beginning, is just a large bit, standard jobber's drill that you could use on steel or wood. But the most important thing is that you see the way I have this lined up here. This drill has to stay inside the cut mark. I don't want to go out into this material here, so I have to stay inside. And that's the purpose of these concentric rings. So you can see that cuts pretty fast. And it removes about 1 inch of material. And I'm staying inside my 6-inch circle here. I want to drill a ring all the way around and into the center, etc. So now I've got a series of holes that go all the way around, double ring and one in the center. Looks like the business end of an A10 Warthog Gatling gun. Now what I want to do is take a drill about the same size and then bring it up the travel of the drill press so that I can bore out another 3 to 3.5 inches out of all these holes. So this drill is basically the same as this drill, except you can see there's a weld here. So I welded a half-inch shaft extension on here, able to bore down deeper. Alright, we're at the bottom of the press. Okay, so now that all these holes here are bored to the depth of about 6 inches, I'm going to flip the log over. We're going to do the same from the other side. They do meet. You can see a little bit of light through that hole. I line it up with the camera. Anyway, we've got a good start on this project. Both ends of the logs are bored with 6-inch holes. There's one hole all the way through the middle. I got to bore the other ones in so that all of these kind of start to meet in the middle here. And that's for another day. Well, as you can see, I'm back in the garage today and I'm continuing with this bird feeder I started. The biggest problem I had with this one is I just didn't find it big enough, and you can see that this one is going to hold 2.5 times the volume of birdseed that this one holds. Anyway, let's carry on. We got an assortment of Forstner bits, hole saws, and fat drills to do this job. So I've bored all the holes down, as many of these holes as I can, as deep as I can get them down to about here. I've switched to the Forstner bit, and then the goal here is to remove all the material inside the 6-inch diameter circle that I have for the cavity. All this material, I want to take it down, a good couple of inches. And then I will switch to bigger Forstner bits like this one, and possibly this much larger 4-inch one. But you don't want to put them down on a flat surface. You want to get down in so that you've got an outer edge for those things to stay inside the workpiece. So that's the first arc across with the Forstner bit. Do that a couple more times. Alright, so I got the whole thing bored out, about 2 inches down. Using this Forstner bit and raising the table up, you can see I've bored a hole all the way through to the plywood on the other side. I could use the bigger bit, but this one's got a better tooth profile on the edge. There we go. I wouldn't call it a perfect 6-inch diameter hole, but not bad. And believe me, the birds don't care. There's a few cracks here, of course. Crack there, and there's a crack here. I need to get some Gorilla Glue into those and stop them from cracking anymore. And what I do anytime there's a serious crack is I actually make it worse. That way I can get more glue and more sawdust in there. Straighten it up. Seems like the wrong thing to do, but it is the right thing to do. So for my glue and sawdust, I do two things. One is I'll just take random sawdust like that and I'll put it on a sieve so that only the finest bits get through. With my random orbital sander is I take the very, very fine dust that gets inside here. That's what the majority of this is. You can see that it's a very, very fine, very, very fine powdery dust. So let's get the Gorilla Glue and get this thing started to heal. Gorilla Glue, original. I put the glue in first and then I work the sawdust down in on top of it. Okay, now I got to get it on the inside again because you can see there's a good crack there yet. Regular wood glue is okay, but this Gorilla Glue is better. And the reason it's better is it's quoted as being 100% waterproof. Up here in Kanukistan, Lepage wood glue is actually water soluble. Really not the best stuff for outdoors. They have a pretty harsh life. They're outside in the worst weather of the year. The sun does a lot of damage to other things, but dampness, humidity, freezing and thawing are pretty hard on wood. So I've removed the plexiglass from this former bird feeder, and here they are, two pieces, and I've marked how they fit onto this piece here. Trial fit. So it goes in like that. So that'll be a sight gauge, and then at the bottom I'll cut that out so that the feed can come out at the very bottom. But that's a pretty good start. That's one. I'm going to do the other side. All freehand eyeball stuff. That's pretty good too. I'm going to leave it like that. Now what I got to do, leave a border on the inside, then I got to cut all of that out, or almost all of that out with a jigsaw. Going to leave an edge all the way around for it to sit on for me to put wood screws in. So this edge looks like about a ½ inch on the edge and about an inch top and bottom, so try to copy that. Oh, rattling bastard. Well, that cracked. Son of a bitch. Now I'm going to have to glue all that back together. Too much vibration in the jigsaw and I couldn't stop it. Well, this part came out in two pieces, and then there's this tiny little layer left here. Anyway, I'll do my best with the Gorilla Glue, put it back together. We can put Humpty Dumpty back together again here. Oh yeah, popped in there pretty good. A straight edge on here. Tap it. That's good. Well, if everything goes according to Hoyle, the glue joint will be as strong or stronger than the original wood. It looks pretty good. So I'm moving right along with the bird feeder. In my haste to get this thing finished, I've already gone ahead and painted the area where the sight gauges are going to be, and I made the base and I've made a top. A long way from finished, of course. This base will be painted red and the top will be painted red to match the trim. So I've gone ahead and bored the holes, and I'm going to use these commercially made access points. One's going to go there and one's going to go like that. Basically flush with the bottom, and then the birds will be able to get pretty much all the feed out of there that they want. The first thing I want to do is get the base finished so I can take it off of here and I can paint it and then start working, concentrate on the roof. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take where the wall is the thickest here. I think I'm going to drill 7/16 hole in here and put a dowel pin, a wooden dowel in there, and glue it. Match drill holes through this. And I need to refinish the base here all these places where the sander has removed the varnish. So get another coat of varnish on here and paint that. Paint this, but first I gotta match drill this, and then I can go ahead and paint it. There we go. Nice solid fit. I won't need anything else to hold this lid on. Those pins will be strong enough. With the weight of the lid and the secureness of those pins, that's all I need. I suppose what I could do is leave this one in here, glue it in here, and then set this on this way, and this on this way. That way they're keyed. I think that's what I'm going to do. So this is my solution for storing birdseed. I use coffee cans, cut the lids right off so they pour out nice. If you got a bag like this, sunflower seeds in your garage, it's just an invitation for the mice. So my bird feeder is ready to go, except for two final touches. One of these pegs broke off, so I had to use a wood screw, and I'll put a little bit of black tape on that. But otherwise, it's good to go, and it just needs to be filled with bird seed. So let's do that, and then we'll put it out. Headed up behind the house, trudging through the snow, getting this set up a bit later than usual, as you can see with all the snow. And this tube inside a tube mounting system is of my own design and making. It's a 7/8 tube welded to a steel rim and tire, and it's a 3/4 inch pipe mounted to the bottom of the bird feeder. Works great. And in conjunction with that is a simple aluminum bracket I made that pretty well squirrel-proof. I've never seen them, if they jump on it and land on it, it's not strong enough to hold them, and they can't climb around it. Over and out.